Thank you for keeping it here on African News 24 TV, your trusted destination for breaking stories and in-depth updates from across the continent and the world. I'm ADIM here to bring you the top stories in politics, sports, and beyond. First, the headlines. Again, Ogun government stops Awujale selection process. Court sacks Abure, orders INEC to recognize Nenadi Usman as LP leader. Sanwo-Olu approves recruitment of 150 firefighters in Lagos. We'll begin in Ogun State, where the state government has again directed the selection process to fill the vacant stool of the Awujale of Ijebuland be stopped until further notice. The Ogun State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Gani Hamzat, gave the directive via a letter addressed to the chairman of Ijebu, the local government area, and dated January 20, 2026. Hamzat said the decision to stop the process was based on various petitions and reports received from security agencies and other key stakeholders in relation to traditional rulers' selection process. The Awujale stool is one of the most revered traditional institutions in Yoruba land and a paramount stool in Ogun State. Hamza stated that the stature of the throne was further elevated by the late Awujale, Oba Sikiru Adetono, who reigned for 65 years. The commissioner noted that the importance of the stool and the legacy of the immediate past monarch have placed the current selection process under intense public scrutiny. Moving to the courts, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on Wednesday ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to recognize the former Minister of Finance, Nenadi Usman, as the valid leader of the Labour Party. Delivering judgment, Justice Peter Lifu said the court relied on the April 4, 2025 verdict of the Supreme Court to uphold Usman's leadership and removed Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party. Justice Lifu ordered INEC to forthwith recognize the Usman-led caretaker committee as the only valid authority to represent the Labour Party, pending the conduct of a national convention. Justice Lifu said the evidence before the court established that Abure's tenure as the national chairman of the party had elapsed and they could not leave a leadership vacuum in the party. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has approved the recruitment of 150 additional officers into the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service to boost emergency response and public safety across the state. The LSFRS Controller General, Margaret Adesheye, disclosed this in a statement issued by the agency's Public Affairs Officer, Myra Fadairo, on Tuesday, January 20. Adesheye, while flagging off the LSFRS Quad 23 training exercise in Ikeja, said the recruitment reflects the administration's commitment to a resilient and well-equipped fire and rescue service. The LSFRS boss said the government remains resolute in its determination to continually invest in human capacity development, modern infrastructure, and operational equipment to ensure the safety of lives, property, and the environment across Lagos. The Nigerian Police Force has confirmed the abduction of residents at Wali, a remote community in Kaduna local government area of Kaduna State. The NPF said the incident indeed occurred contrary to earlier conflicting accounts that had created confusion and public anxiety. The force public relations officer, CSP Benjamin Hunde, in a statement on Tuesday night, however, clarified that the police's initial response was not a denial of the incident, but rather a measured response pending confirmation of details from the field. It will be recalled that the Kaduna State Police Command on Monday denied the attack, urging the people of the state to disregard the report. The incident was first reported as an attack on church worshippers, with church leaders and civil society groups alleging that over 160 persons were abducted during Sunday's services, including from the Cherubim and Seraphim Church. However, Undain disclosed that upon receiving the report, the Kaduna State Security Council meeting was convened by Governor Sani, Only stated that during the meeting at the government house in Kaduna, some individuals from the affected local government area disputed the report and described it as false. Still in Kaduna local government area of Kaduna State, a community group has released the names of 177 worshippers abducted during coordinated attacks on churches in Komewali community. The victims were said to have been kidnapped when gunmen stormed the Equa Church and Cherubim and Seraphim churches on Sunday, January 18, 2026. On Monday, the Kaduna State Police Command had dismissed reports of the abduction, describing them as false and accusing conflict entrepreneurs of spreading misinformation to undermine peace in the state. The Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Rabiu, challenged those making the claims to provide verifiable details of the victims, maintaining that the police had no record of such an attack. However, the Nigerian Police Force later confirmed on Wednesday, January 21, 2026, that the abduction indeed took place in Kaduna State. Following the confirmation, the Adara Development Association, which represents the Adara ethnic nationality in Kajiri and Kachia local government areas, published a detailed list of the abducted persons. States hosting internally displaced persons in Nigeria are said to benefit from a $12 million World Bank loan, part of a larger $300 million financing package approved for the Solutions for the Internally Displaced and Host Communities project. The loan aims to enhance access to essential services and economic opportunities for IDPs and host communities in northern Nigeria, where over 3.5 million people have been displaced due to conflict and insecurity. The project will focus on developing climate-resilient infrastructure, promoting social cohesion, and supporting livelihoods. The Federal Executive Council has approved the loan, which will be implemented through a coordinated community-driven approach involving federal, state, and local governments with international partners' support. The World Bank Country Director for Nigeria, Matthew Vegas, emphasized that the project will help address development challenges associated with protracted displacement, ensuring IDPs and host communities transition from dependency to self-reliance and resilience. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, has condemned plans by the Kano State government to release 70 suspended bandits currently in custody. The ADC described the move as dangerous, unjust, and a grave betrayal of victims of banditry across Katsina State. Addressing journalists in Katsina on Tuesday, January 20, 2026, the party's spokesperson, Lawal Tuko Batagarwa, warned that freeing the suspect would severely undermine public confidence in the government's fight against insecurity. The letter signed by the Director of Public Prosecution, Abdurrahman Umar, requested the Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee to facilitate the release of the suspected bandits. The Katsina State government later said the move was part of efforts to sustain an ongoing peace deal with armed groups operating in the state. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Nasiru Muazu, said the decision was taken to consolidate peace agreements reached between affected communities and repentant bandits across several frontline areas. The Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has been honored with a Life Membership Award by the Association of Dance Scholars and Practitioners of Nigeria in recognition of his contributions to the development of arts and education in the state. The Special Advisor to the Governor on Media and Publicity, Gboyega Akoshile, received the award on behalf of Sanwo-Olu on Wednesday, January 21, 2026. Akoshile noted that the award was presented earlier today at his office by the Vice Chancellor of Ojaja University, Professor Jalil Ojuade, who led the delegation from the association. The governor's aide said the honor was bestowed on Sanwo-Olu for his sustained support for the growth of the creative sector, particularly in promoting arts education and providing an enabling environment for cultural practitioners to thrive in Lagos. We'll go on a break now. When we return, we'll tell you how Nigerians shelled out a whopping 1.54 trillion naira on beer and other non-alcoholic beverages. That's some business news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The federal government of Nigeria has doubled its domestic borrowing target for January 2026 to 900 billion naira according to the Debt Management Office. This move aims to finance budget needs and support the domestic fixed income market. The DMO will auction 3 federal government of Nigeria bonds on January 26, 2006, with settlements on January 28, 2006. Each bond unit costs 1,000 naira with a minimum subscription of 50 million naira. Interest is paid semi-annually and principal is repaid at maturity. The Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, emphasized the government's focus on revenue generation and domestic resource mobilization to reduce borrowing dependence. And Nigerians shelled out a whopping 1.54 trillion naira on beer and other non-alcoholic beverages in the first 9 months of 2025, according to an analysis of major bureaus' financial statements. The combined revenue of Nigerian Breweries PLC, International Breweries PLC, and Champion Breweries PLC highlights the resilience of Nigeria's beer market, driven by strong brand loyalty and extensive distribution networks despite rising production costs and economic pressures. Nigerian Breweries PLC led the pack with 1.5 trillion naira in net revenue, followed by International Breweries PLC with 472.57 billion naira and Champions Breweries PLC with 21.44 billion naira. Analysts note a gradual shift in consumer spending patterns, with some reducing beer consumption, prompting breweries to adjust strategies. And on the foreign scene, President Donald Trump has declared that the United States will not use military force to annex Greenland, instead calling for immediate negotiations to secure the Arctic territory. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Trump reiterated his long-standing interest in Greenland, claiming the U.S. should have retained control after World War II, when American troops were stationed there to prevent Nazi occupation. He criticized past U.S. leaders as stupid for relinquishing the Danish-held territory and accused Copenhagen of being ungrateful. He urged talks with Denmark and Greenland, insisting the U.S. could develop and protect the island from both America and Europe. Trump argued that America needed rights, title, and ownership to properly defend Greenland, despite existing defense agreements that already allow U.S. military presence there. Both governments have repeatedly stated that Greenland is not for sale. The gunman charged with killing Japan's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was found guilty and jailed for life on Wednesday, January 21, 2026. The presiding judge, Shinichi Tanaka, declared the broad daylight assassination despicable and extremely malicious. The shooting more than 3 years ago forced a reckoning in Japan, a country with little experience of gun violence, and ignited scrutiny of alleged ties between prominent conservative lawmakers and a secretive sect, the Unification Church. A queue of people waited on Wednesday morning for tickets to enter the courtroom, highlighting intense public interest in the trial, AFP reported. Yamagami looked down and expressed little emotion during the sentencing for charges including murder and firearms control law violations after he used a handmade gun to kill Japan's longest-serving leader during his campaign speech in July 2022. The defense team of Yamagami, who had admitted to murder at the trial opening in October, told a press conference that he had not yet decided whether to appeal, which under Japan's legal system must be done within 2 weeks. to sports. Nigeria's Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, and Calvin Bassey have earned places in the official team of the tournament for the recently concluded 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. The Confederation of African Football unveiled the tournament's best six on Wednesday, recognizing players who delivered outstanding performances throughout the competition. Osimhen played a key role in Nigeria's campaign, registering 4 goals and 2 assists as the Super Eagles secured the record-extending 9th bronze medal after finishing 3rd. Lookman was one of the tournament's most influential attackers, recording the highest goal involvement with 4 goals and 3 assists. His inclusion marks his 2nd consecutive appearance in the AFCON team of the tournament. At the back, Bassey emerged as a pillar of Nigeria's defense, producing a series of composed displays and helped the Super Eagles keep clean sheets during the knockout stages. The 26-year-old defender was widely praised for his leadership and consistency. The list also features Senegal's Sadio Mane, who was crowned player of the tournament alongside Brahim Diaz, who finished as the competition's top scorer to claim the Golden Boot. Morocco's Yassine Bono was named best goalkeeper. Other players selected include Idris Gueye, Pape Gueye, Ashraf Hakimi, Moussa Niakhaté, and Nassirou Mazraoui. In a thrilling match, Sporting CP stunned Paris Saint-Germain 2-1 while Arsenal secured a comfortable 3-1 win over Inter Milan in yesterday's Champions League action. Luis Suarez scored a late winner for Sporting CP, denting PSG's hope for a top 8 finish. Meanwhile, Gabriel Jesus scored a first-half double and Victor Gyökeres netted late on as Arsenal made it 7 wins for 7 in the Champions League. Other results include Tottenham Hotspur beating Borussia Dortmund 2-0, Real Madrid trashing Monaco 6-1, and Bodo Glimt pulling off a stunning 3-1 upset against Manchester City. And for today's fixtures, Marseille will take on Liverpool, while Chelsea will take on Pafos. Newcastle will take on PSV Eindhoven. Slavia Prague will take on Barcelona. Karabakh FK will take on Eintracht Frankfurt. Welcome to entertainment. Actor Jimon Hun-soon has had his baby mama Risa Simpson arrested for allegedly assaulting him at his Atlanta mansion. The incident occurred in December 2025 when Hun-soon tried to evict Simpson from his home, and she allegedly punched him in the face with a closed fist, leaving his left eye red and swollen. According to police reports, Hun-soon claimed that the 2 children were upstairs at the time of the incident and may have heard the altercation but didn't witness it. Simpson was arrested on January 16, 2026 and charged with simple assault and obstruction, both misdemeanors. The obstruction charge stems from Simpson's allegedly providing false information to officers during the investigation. Hun-soon, known for his roles in Blood Diamond and Gladiator, has reportedly been instructed on how to obtain a temporary protective order and the eviction process. Simpson's court date is scheduled for January 21, 2026. Nigerian chef Hilda Bassey has expressed her excitement and gratitude after learning she has been awarded a 3rd Guinness World Record. Bassey, who broke the record for the largest serving of Nigerian-style jollof rice, discovered she had also set records for the largest serving of rice overall and accumulated a total of 3 Guinness World Records. Quote, "Woke up a 3-time Guinness World Record holder and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it." End of quote. She credited her success to her team, saying this is our win, and thanked her partner Reolua Atinmo for the collaboration. Bassey's record-breaking achievement has sparked widespread congratulations from fans and well-wishers. That's it for now. Keep following africannews24.nj for continuous updates on this and other stories. Connect with us across all the social media platforms to stay informed and ahead of the curve. I'm Mary ADIM. Do enjoy the rest of your day.